And today we've got a story that, well, it might seem pretty simple on the surface.
Yeah.
But trust me, there are layers to this one.
Oh, there are layers, for sure. We're diving deep today into the X-Files.
Ooh, nice.
Specifically, an episode from the first season called Roland.
Roland.
It first aired back on May 6th, 1994.
Back in the day.
Now, if you're a fan of the show, you might remember this one as a classic Monster of the Week episode, you know.
Right.
Mulder and Scully roll into town. There's something strange going on. They investigate.
The
usual. But what's really interesting about Roland is how it takes that familiar formula and adds these, really subtle and kind of unsettling elements to it.
Right. It's not your typical monster under the bed kind of story.
Not at all.
So at the heart of this mystery, we've got a series of deaths happening at an aerospace testing facility.
High stakes.
Yeah. And right away, the focus goes to this guy, Roland Fuller. He's a janitor at the facility, and he's described as mentally disabled.
Okay.
But as we get deeper into this story, it becomes pretty clear that things are not what they seem.
Right.
We've got some awesome sources for this deep dive.
Excellent.
They not only break down the plot of the episode, but they also give us a peek behind the scenes. You know,
I love that.
how this episode came together, the initial reactions to it, all that good stuff.
The juicy bits.
So our mission, if you choose to accept it,
I'm in.
is to go beyond that basic summary.
Yeah.
We want to unpack the key events, of course, but more importantly, we're going to explore those hidden depths.
Right.
The intriguing little details and the fascinating story behind the story.
I like it. It's about finding the unexpected in the familiar.
Exactly. All right, so let's set the scene. We're at the Mahan Washington Institute of Technology.
Okay.
And we're introduced to Roland Fuller. And right away, you get this sense that he's being underestimated.
In what way?
Well, there's this scene where Dr. Keats is giving Roland a hard time about his key card.
Oh, like he doesn't trust him or something?
Yeah, it seems like a small thing, right?
Yeah.
But it establishes this kind of power dynamic
Nice.
where Roland is seen as, less than.
Gotcha.
And then boom, the stakes are raised.
Oh.
We see these two scientists, Frank Nollet and Ronald Cernow, and they are in a heated argument.
Ugh.
They're arguing about whether or not to test this prototype jet engine at Mach 15.
Mach 15? That's pretty fast.
It's insanely fast.
Yeah.
Nollet wants to push the boundaries,
He's like a daredevil scientist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Cernow is super concerned about the risks. This is their big project, and he doesn't want to see it destroyed.
Makes sense.
So right away, you have this conflict between ambition and caution.
Oh, I see. Classic scientific dilemma.
And then things take a very dark turn.
Oh, no.
After Keats and Nollet leave, Cernow heads into the wind tunnel for some tests.
Okay.
And here's where it gets chilling. Roland's still in the control room, and he activates the turbines.
Oh, wow.
And it's devastating. Cernow is killed instantly.
That's intense.
It's a really sudden and shocking moment.
So was it an accident? Or did Roland do it on purpose?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What makes it even more intriguing is what Roland does next. He goes over to the whiteboard where the scientists had been working,
Okay.
and he makes these subtle changes to their equations.
Interesting. So he's not just, a simple janitor.
It definitely raises some questions. Is this just a random act, or is there something more calculated going on here?
Right. Does he even understand what those equations mean?
Exactly. And that's when our favorite FBI agents enter the picture.
Mulder and Scully.
Them Scully being the skeptic she is.
Always grounded in logic.
Immediately suspects industrial espionage.
Makes sense. Especially in a high-tech facility like that.
Right. And they learn about the earlier death of another researcher, Arthur Grable. So there's a pattern.
Yeah. It looks like potential sabotage.
Classic case for the FBI.
But then Mulder, with his keen eye,
Always looking for the X factor.
notices something crucial on that whiteboard.
What is it?
He identifies at least 4 different handwritings.
Whoa. So someone else was in that room.
It means there's another person involved, someone we don't know about.
Okay, so now the focus shifts. Who is this mystery person?
Right. And what role do they play in all of this?
This is getting good.
So Mulder and Scully, they go and interview Keats and Nollet.
Okay.
And both of them confirm that Roland was the only other person around.
But they don't think he could have done it.
Yeah, they both express serious doubts about Roland's ability to, actually commit murder.
So you've got the only suspect who seemingly can't be the killer.
It's a classic X-Files paradox.
What do you make of that initial disbelief from the scientists? I think it speaks to how quick we are to judge sometimes,
Yeah.
We make assumptions based on appearances or perceived limitations, And the scientists dismissing Roland out of hand, well, it just highlights that bias.
It sets the stage for all the twists and turns that are coming.
For sure. So to get more answers, the agents head over to Roland's care home.
Okay.
And when they question him, he denies any involvement in the deaths.
Of course.
But then he does something really unsettling.
What's that?
He suddenly and accurately counts the star patterns on Scully's blouse.
Whoa, hold on. How did he do that?
It comes out of nowhere and shows this unexpected mathematical ability.
So maybe he's not as simple as everyone thinks.
Right. But here's the thing. His handwriting still doesn't match that mysterious fourth sample from the whiteboard.
Ugh, another clue that just leads to more questions.
It's like a breadcrumb trail leading us deeper into the mystery.
Classic X-Files. Keeps you guessing.
And it gets even creepier. Roland then has this violent vision.
A vision?
Yeah, involving Dr. Keats. Yeah. And then he has what looks like a seizure.
Oh, wow.
It's disturbing enough to make Mulder and Scully leave.
Right.
But it also foreshadows what's to come.
Like a premonition.
Exactly. Because later, Roland has another vision.
Oh, no.
This time he sees someone actually killing Keats.
That's terrifying.
And tragically, this vision becomes a reality.
Oh, gosh.
Roland goes back to the lab. He attacks and kills Keats.
Awful.
And then there's this truly bizarre and unforgettable scene.
I'm intrigued.
Roland freezes Keats' head in liquid nitrogen.
He what?
Yeah, and then as if that wasn't enough, the frozen head shatters.
Oh my God. That's so disturbing.
It's a moment of pure surreal horror.
I can only imagine.
And the episode keeps throwing twists at us.
Lay it on me.
After freezing Keats' head, Roland sits down at a computer and starts typing.
Typing? What's he typing?
That's the question. The next day, Mulder and Scully discovered that the computer was active for hours after Keats died.
Okay, so Roland was definitely using it.
And then they make a crucial discovery, a number that Roland had written earlier on like an art project. Turns out to be the password to Arthur Grable's computer files.
Grable, the researcher who died earlier.
Yep. And get this, those files were accessed and modified after Grable's supposed death.
What? That doesn't make any sense. How is that possible?
This is where the story takes a really wild turn.
Okay, I'm ready.
The agents learned that Grable was the scientist who originally hired Roland.
Interesting connection.
And suddenly the suspicion shifts. Did Grable fake his own death?
Ooh, conspiracy time.
Is he somehow using Roland to, carry out some plan?
Maybe revenge or to continue his research?
And here's another weird thing. There's no record of a morgue visit or a funeral for Grable.
That's suspicious.
It all points to Grable being alive and pulling the strings from the shadows.
So where is he?
Well, just when it seems like Grable might be alive, and
yeah.
Nolette takes Mulder and Scully to this cryopreservation facility.
Cryopreservation? Like frozen bodies?
Yep, and what they find there is truly shocking.
Oh, leave me hanging.
They find Arthur Grable's disembodied head being stored in a cryogenic chamber.
Whoa. Hold on, just his head.
Just his head. So Grable is definitely dead.
But his head is frozen.
It's a truly disturbing image.
I bet. Talk about a creepy twist.
Oh wait, there's more.
More. I don't know if I can handle more.
They find a photo of Grable, and after some digital enhancement, the truth is revealed. Arthur Grable and Roland Fuller were identical twins.
No way! They were twins.
Twins. It's mind-blowing.
That changes everything.
Right. Mulder comes to the only logical conclusion. Grable, even in death, is somehow exerting control over Roland.
Whoa, posthumous mind control. That's a new one.
It's one of the most unique and unsettling forms of paranormal influence I've ever seen in the X-Files.
So the twin connection is the key.
It seems that way.
Uh-huh.
But then Nolette does something really unexpected. He sneaks into the cryo facility and sabotages Grable's cryogenic unit.
What? Why would he do that?
It's a risky move. He basically starts the thawing process, which will ultimately destroy Grable's head.
So he's trying to make sure Grable stays dead.
It seems like it. But what's his motivation?
Maybe he's trying to protect himself.
From what?
Well, remember their argument about the engine?
Yeah.
It hinted that there might be some professional rivalry going on.
Right.
Maybe even stolen research.
You think Nolette stole Grable's work?
It's possible. And now he's trying to cover his tracks.
Wow. This is getting complicated.
The plot thickens. Meanwhile, back at the lab, Roland is attempting to push that prototype engine to Mach 15.
Oh no. He's gonna blow the whole place up.
It's a recipe for disaster. And then Nolette shows up again.
Oh boy.
He confesses to stealing Grable's research.
He admits it.
Yep. And to make matters worse, he tries to frame Roland by attempting to shoot him.
What a jerk.
Talk about desperate measures.
But Roland defends himself.
So for him.
He strikes Nolette and then drags him into the wind tunnel.
The same one that killed Sir now?
The very same. He activates the turbine, and it looks like history is about to repeat itself.
Oh my god. This is so intense.
Just in the nick of time.
Here comes Mulder and Scully.
They arrive and manage to stop Roland from killing Nolette.
Thank goodness.
And at the same time as this is happening, Grable thaws out in the Sabotage cryogenic unit and dies.
Whoa. So the twins die at almost the same time?
It's a very strange and eerie coincidence.
Almost poetic in a way.
Yeah, definitely unsettling.
Yeah.
The episode ends with Roland being taken to a psychiatric institute.
To figure out what's going on with him.
Exactly. And there's one final chilling detail. As he's being led away, Roland combs his hair.
Okay.
In the exact same style as Grable.
Oh, wow. Even in the end, the twin connection remains.
It suggests that even though Grable's is gone, his influence over Roland might still be there.
That's creepy. It leaves you with so many questions.
It's a reminder that things are not always what they seem.
And that some connections run deeper than we can imagine.
So as you can see, Roland starts as this seemingly straightforward investigation.
Right.
But it quickly unravels into this really complex and unsettling story.
It's got it all entering. Manipulation, family secrets, and a truly disturbing form of mind control.
And what I love about these deep dives is that we get to go beyond the plot. You know, there's this whole other layer of intrigue surrounding the making of Roland.
Oh, totally. Like uncovering secrets from the past.
It's like we're time travelers going back to 1994 when this episode first aired.
I love that. A little bit of mystery, a little bit of nostalgia.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of those behind-the-scenes tidbits.
Okay, spill the tea.
First of all, did you know that Roland was one of only 2 X-Files episodes written by Chris Ruppenthal?
Really? I didn't know that. So he wasn't a regular writer on the show?
Nope. He did contribute to another episode in season 2, but it went through a lot of rewrites.
Interesting.
It's always cool to see those early contributions from writers who maybe didn't become mainstays on the show.
Yeah, you get a glimpse into the evolution of the series.
And here's another fun fact. Roland marks the very first time that Mulder's father, Bill Mulder, is mentioned in the entire X-Files series.
Whoa, really? That's a pretty significant detail.
It is. Especially considering how important Bill Mulder becomes to the whole mythology of the show.
True. It's like a little seed that was planted in this episode.
And get this. The original plan was to mention Samantha Mulder instead.
Mulder's sister.
Yeah, can you imagine how different that would have been?
That would have added a whole other layer of emotional weight to the story.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about casting Zeljko Ivanek, who played Roland.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He was phenomenal, right?
So believable.
And believe it or not, he was the very first actor to audition for the role.
No way. Seriously.
Yep. And apparently his performance just blew Chris Carter away.
I can see why he brought so much depth to the character.
He was incredible. Carter pretty much cast him on the spot.
Wow. Talk about making an impression.
It's a testament to Ivanek's talent that he was able to create such a memorable and unsettling character.
And he's gone on to have such a successful career.
He's amazing. He's been in so many great shows.
A true character actor.
And here's another little connection. Gary Davey, who played Dr. Keats,
The unfortunate doctor.
had a connection to William B. Davis.
The cigarette-smoking man.
The one and only. They both knew each other through the William Davis Center for Actors study.
It's a small world.
It really is, especially in the X-Files universe.
It's like everyone's connected somehow.
And you know what I love about the X-Files?
What's that?
Their attention to detail. Like in Roland, the art director, Graham Murray,
Okay.
he actually did research at universities and research facilities in Vancouver
Really?
to make sure that the lab and wind tunnel sets looked as authentic as possible.
Wow. That's dedication.
It's that commitment to realism that makes the X-Files so immersive.
Even when they're dealing with the paranormal.
Exactly. Oh, and we can't forget to mention that scene with Keats' frozen head.
Oh my God, that was wild.
Right. It's so bizarre and darkly comedic.
Like you said, pure surreal horror.
Chris Carter has even talked about how that scene was meant to have a bit of absurd humor to it.
Interest juxtaposing the horror with something almost funny.
It's the X-Files at its best, blending genres in unexpected ways.
Keeping you on the edge of your seat.
So when Roland first aired, it did pretty well in the ratings.
I'm not surprised.
It pulled in a Nielsen rating of 7.9.
Respectable.
But the critical response was a bit mixed.
Really?
Yeah. Almost everyone praised Zeljko Ivanek's performance.
Well, deservedly so.
But opinions on the episode as a whole were all over the place.
Fascinating. Let's hear some of those reactions.
Okay, so Entertainment Weekly gave Roland a B+.
Not bad.
They called Ivanek's performance astonishing and said the death scenes were excellent.
They definitely had an impact.
But then you had critics like Zach Handlen from the AV Club.
Okay.
He had a more mixed take.
In what way?
He felt that the plot was a little too similar to an earlier episode called Born Again.
Oh, I see. Like they were retreading familiar ground.
Yeah, but he still enjoyed the episode and praised Ivanek's performance.
So it wasn't a total thumbs down.
Nope. He appreciated the good parts even though he felt it was a bit derivative.
Fair enough. But not all the critics were so forgiving.
True. Matt Haff from Den of Geeks said that Roland didn't really stand out.
Just kind of blended in with the other episodes.
Yeah, and Devin Maloney from Vulture was even harsher.
Oh no. What did they say?
They actually called it one of the more embarrassing episodes of the first season.
Ouch. That's tough.
Especially when viewed through a modern lens, you know.
Right. Things have changed a lot since 1994.
Their main criticism was how the episode portrayed Roland's character.
Like they felt it was insensitive.
Yeah, they felt it leaned into certain stereotypes about neurodivergent people.
Which is understandable. Our understanding and sensitivity around these issues have evolved a lot since then.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder that how we view older media can change over time.
It's all about context.
Even Glenn Morgan, one of the writers for The X-Files,
Okay.
he admitted that Roland might not have been the most successful episode.
Interesting that he acknowledged that.
But he did appreciate that it offered a slightly softer take on the paranormal.
A softer take.
Yeah. It wasn't about a monster or a conspiracy.
Right.
It was about something more personal, in a way more tragic.
Like a human story with paranormal elements.
Exactly. So despite the mixed reactions, Roland is still a significant episode.
I agree. It's thought-provoking and unsettling.
And Zeljko Ivanek's performance is a big reason why it's so memorable.
He really brought that character to life.
It's a reminder that even these standalone episodes of The X-Files could explore complex themes.
Right. They weren't afraid to delve into the darkness and ambiguity of human nature.
And they often left us with more questions than answers.
That's the beauty of it. It keeps you thinking.
So what can we take away from this deep dive into Roland?
Well, first of all, it's a reminder that things are rarely black and white.
Right.
The episode plays with our expectations.
It makes us question our assumptions about people.
And about the nature of good and evil.
Roland is also a story about control.
Oh, absolutely.
About how people can be manipulated.
Sometimes even from beyond the grave.
The idea of Grabble controlling Roland even after death is just so chilling.
It raises questions about free will and the power of connection.
It's a really unique exploration of those themes.
And it's all wrapped up in this unsettling and suspenseful package.
Classic X-Files. So what are your final thoughts on Roland?
You know what really sticks with me is the ending. The image of Roland combing his hair like Grable.
It's such a haunting image.
It suggests that even though Grable is gone, his influence might linger.
It makes you wonder about the true nature of their connection.
Was it just manipulation, or was there something deeper there?
Something almost symbiotic.
Yeah, it makes you think about the unseen forces that might be shaping our lives.
And the possibility that we might not be as in control as we think we are.
It's a thought-provoking and unsettling idea, which is exactly what The X-Files does best.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Roland.
Thanks for taking me on this journey.
Always a pleasure. Until next time, keep those minds open and keep questioning everything.
Question everything. I like it.
And who knows, maybe we'll uncover another hidden gem from the past.
I can't wait.